Guys, it's Portia from Randomly Awesome. Today's video is going to be about this book. So there's a lot of recipes in this book, like thousands of recipes. And I had to use this book for my culinary class last semester and the semester before. So today I decided I would go through a few different recipes in here and describe like a few tips to make it easier. Because a lot of these in here are like from scratch. So if you don't know how to do it after this video, you should. So here we go. Alright, so the first one is going to be a rather easy recipe. It's Fettucine Alfredo. That's pretty easy. If you don't know how to make noodles from scratch, then you should learn because it's really easy. Okay, so all you need to make Fettucine Alfredo to start with, to make the mold, to make the noodles, all you need is flour, egg, a little bit of water so it doesn't stick too much, and that's about it. So you get some flour, you make like a little well, you put some eggs inside of it, then you just like mold it all together. Then you let that sit in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. And then after that, it should be like a ball of like it's kind of like going to be a little bit sticky, but it should be okay. And then after that, you just roll it out with the pin roller or your hands, whatever. So then after you do that, you have to take a knife and shape it into like, you know, strips. And then you can use a pasta machine like I have, or I don't know, some other way, but that'd probably be harder. You just use a pasta machine. They're pretty inexpensive. I got one last year. So you run it through the machine, and they have different settings on the machine where it could be like long or short or like thick or skinny for the noodles. And for fettuccine, you know, they have to be sort of long and a little bit thick, but not too bad, not too much. Okay, so then after you roll it through the machine, then you have to boil it in water, which is going to take like less than 5 minutes, because everyone knows, well, you should know, when you do fresh noodles from scratch, they boil really, really quickly. So after they boil and they're already done, then you have to make like a sauce. You can use heavy cream or you can use milk or whatever is your preference. So you can use heavy cream or milk, and then you take some butter and mix it all together, and then just pour it on top of the fettuccine, the noodles. That makes the fettuccine. And then you could season it with salt and white pepper. Always use white pepper because you don't want white pepper in certain dishes, because if you use black pepper, then it's kind of looks like weird. So you should always use white pepper. So that's the basis to make Fettucine Alfredo, which is one of the first things I learned in my culinary class. So that's one recipe. Move on to another one. What's another one I did in here? Let's see. No, that's difficult. That's difficult. Let's see. Wait. Oh, here's another one. Dutchess Potatoes. Now, Dutchess Potatoes is a little bit difficult. I had issues with it when I first learned how to do it. But once you get it down, it's pretty standard. So all you need is a few potatoes. Russet potatoes is pretty much the best, because you don't want to use like any waxy potatoes, like red potatoes. You want to use like a real mealy, strong potato, like a russet, all-purpose. Okay, so you got to get a few of those. You have to peel them, wash them, and then after you do all that, cut them into like little squares so you can mash them, because you are going to mash them. It's basically like making mashed potatoes, except you're not going to mix a whole bunch of like milk and butter and all that. You're going to only use a little bit of it. So for that, you need egg yolks, eggs, clarified butter, salt and pepper, white pepper, and you could use a little bit of nutmeg, even though I didn't use nutmeg in mine, but nutmeg does give it a little extra flavor. Okay, so once you mash all the potatoes together, you could use it like a food mill to use the grinder to grind it all up. Then you're going to need to get a piping bag, which they use a lot in baking and stuff like that. So you need to run the potatoes through the piping bag. Make sure the tip is a star tip on the bottom of the piping bag. So then you're going to pipe them onto a sheet pan, and then into like little spirals. Here's a picture. Little spirals. And then after they're into like little spirals, you're going to bake them in the oven for about, I believe it was like about 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes a little less. It depends how many you do. We had to do a lot at school, so we had to bake them for like 30 minutes. But if you're only doing a few, probably like 10 minutes. So then you're just going to bake them in the oven so they're about golden brown, as is this finished picture. So they're about golden brown, and then after they're golden brown, serve them when they're hot, because they're better when they're hot. So that's Dutchess potatoes, pretty standard. It's a little bit difficult, like I said, but once you learn it, it's fine. And then I'm going to do one more recipe. Talk about one more that I did. I did a lot, but there's a few different ones. Let's see. Another one. Let's see. Did I pass it? Where'd it go? I passed it. Oh, here we go. Baked butternut squash. That was one I did a lot, actually, in class. I had trouble with it at first, but after I learned how to make it, I actually made it a lot, and it was a fan favorite of mine when I did lunch at school, so that's pretty standard. So all you need is medium diced squash. So you're going to need, it will depend how many you're going to do. I did a lot for school, so I did half a case of squash. So you need to medium dice all the squash, and then you can season them like I did with salt, pepper, cinnamon, lemon juice, butter. So you season it, then you mix it all together in a big bowl. I added a little extra cinnamon just to make it more sweet. Then you put that in the oven for about 50 minutes to an hour at 350. If you're using a convection oven, you're going to do about 325 to 310 because 350, as you know, in a convection oven is really, really hot. Like the ovens in my school are convection, and if you put something in there where the book says to put it, it will burn really fast because it's really, really high. So you're going to put that in the oven, like I said, for about 50 to an hour, 350. And then when it's done, you can add a little bit more cinnamon or lemon juice on top, like I did. And then you just put it on a sheet pan and then take it out and serve it. So that's baked butternut squash. It's pretty good. Very healthy. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my 3 recipes that I did in school, and those were how to make them and some tips on them. Basically, to cut your time in half is pretty easy. All you need to do is just really take in your ingredients and how much time you need to make them and like what preparations you need to do to make them. That's about it. It's pretty easy. So thank you guys, and I will be back with another video shortly. Hope you guys enjoy this. Like, subscribe, comment if you want me to do another video like this. Okay, thank you. Bye.